Welcome to Captain English Podcast, your go-to place for learning English in a fun, natural, and super easy way. I'm Paul, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And I'm Alice. It's fantastic to be back with all our amazing listeners. Paul, how's your week been so far? Anything exciting happening?
Oh, it's been pretty good, Alice. Actually, I had a really interesting experience yesterday. I went to a new coffee shop, and I ended up chatting with the barista for about 10 minutes. It was just a very natural, easy conversation, and I left feeling pretty good about it.
That sounds lovely. You know, sometimes those unexpected conversations are the best, aren't they? They just flow. But I bet for many of our listeners, the idea of just chatting with someone new, especially in English, can feel a bit scary.
Absolutely. And that brings us perfectly to our topic for today. We're going to talk all about how to introduce yourself naturally and confidently in English conversations. It's something everyone struggles with, even native speakers sometimes.
It's true. Think about it. How many times have you been in a situation where you meet someone new, and the first thing you have to do is introduce yourself? It happens almost every day, whether you're at a party, a work event, or even just bumping into someone at the grocery store.
Exactly. And for English learners, it can feel like a huge challenge. You might worry about your grammar, your pronunciation, or just not knowing what to say beyond, hello, my name is, and then silence.
Shit, that's so relatable. We've all been there. That awkward pause where you both just sort of stare at each other. But the good news is, introducing yourself doesn't have to be scary or difficult. There are some really simple tricks and tips you can use to make it much easier and even enjoyable.
Definitely. Today, we're going to break down the process step by step. We'll cover everything from what to say, how to say it, and even how to keep the conversation going so it doesn't just stop after your name.
All right, so let's dive right in. Paul, what's the very first thing people should remember when they're about to introduce themselves in English?
Okay, the absolute first thing is to remember that first impressions matter a lot. When you meet someone new, they form an opinion of you in a few seconds. So, you want to make those seconds count, right? And it starts with confidence, even if you don't feel 100% confident inside.
Confidence is key, but how do you show confidence when you're feeling a bit nervous, especially when speaking a new language?
That's a great question, Alice. It's not just about what you say, it's also about your body language. We'll talk more about that, but for now, let's start with the basics of what to actually say. The simplest and most common way to introduce yourself is to say, hi, I'm your name.
Simple, straightforward. And then what's next? Because hi, I'm Alice's usually needs a bit more to keep things moving, right?
Exactly. After your name, it's good to add a little bit more information, but don't overshare. A good next step is to mention where you're from or what you do. For example, hi, I'm Paul, I'm from Canada. Or, hello, my name is Paul, and I work as a graphic designer.
Okay, so it's name location or name job. That's a really clear formula. It gives the other person a little piece of information they can use to ask a follow-up question. Like if you say you're from Canada, they might ask, oh, which part of Canada?
Exactly. That's the goal, to open a door for the other person to respond. But here's a tip. Try to keep it positive and friendly. Don't immediately start complaining about your job or where you live. No one wants to hear that in a first introduction.
Good point. A positive attitude is always more inviting. Now, what if you want to be a little more natural, a little less formulaic? How can you add some personality to your introduction?
Great question, Alice. This is where you can add a hook. A hook is something interesting or unique about you that isn't just your name or job. For example, if you're at a photography exhibition, you could say, hi, I'm Paul. I'm really enjoying this exhibition. Are you a photographer too?
Oh, I love that. So you connect your introduction to the situation you're in, or a shared interest. That immediately creates a common ground. It's much more engaging than just stating facts about yourself.
Precisely. Or if you're at a friend's party and you don't know many people, you could say, hi, I'm Paul. I know Sarah from work. How do you know her? This instantly tells them who you are and establishes a connection through a mutual friend.
That's really clever. It makes the conversation feel less like an interview and more like a natural chat. So the key is to not just give information, but to also ask a question that invites the other person to share something about themselves.
You hit the nail on the head, Alice. The goal of an introduction isn't just to tell them who you are. It's to start a two-way conversation. So after you introduce yourself, always try to ask a simple, open-ended question, not a yes or no question.
Can you give us some examples of open-ended questions that work well after an introduction?
Sure. After "Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm visiting from out of town," you could ask, "What do you like most about living here?" Or if you're at a conference, after "Hello, I'm Paul, I'm in marketing," you could say, "What brings you to this conference today?" These questions encourage more than a one-word answer.
Those are fantastic. They show genuine interest, which is always attractive. And it takes the pressure off you to keep talking, because you're inviting them to speak. Now, we talked about body language earlier. How can our listeners use their body language to appear more confident and approachable?
This is super important, Alice. Imagine someone introducing themselves while looking at their shoes and mumbling. Not very confident, right? So first, a smile. A genuine, friendly smile makes you instantly more approachable. It says, "I'm happy to meet you."
A smile is universal, isn't it? Even if you're worried about your English, a smile can communicate so much positivity. What else?
Eye contact. Look at the person you're speaking to. Not staring intensely, but comfortable, friendly eye contact. It shows you're engaged and listening. Also, your posture. Stand or sit up straight. Don't slouch. Open body language. Don't cross your arms. Keep your hands visible. It signals you're open and friendly.
So smile, eye contact, and open posture. These nonverbal cues really do make a huge difference, even before you say a single word. They tell people you're ready and willing to connect.
Exactly. And remember to speak clearly. Don't rush your words. Take a deep breath before you speak if you're nervous. It's okay to speak a little slower than usual if it helps you articulate your words better. It makes you sound more thoughtful, not less confident.
That's a fantastic tip. Rushing often leads to mistakes or mumbling, which can make you feel even more self-conscious. Speaking clearly and at a moderate pace helps a lot. Now, what about those moments when you just freeze? You know, the mind goes blank.
Ah, the dreaded brain freeze. It happens to everyone. The best way to deal with this is preparation. Before you go into a situation where you might meet new people, quickly think about 2 or 3 simple ways you could introduce yourself. Practice them in your head or even out loud.
So having a few go-to lines ready, like a small script but for yourself, that makes so much sense. It takes away some of the pressure of inventing something on the spot.
Yup. And also, remind yourself it's okay to be a little nervous. Most people are. Don't aim for perfection, aim for connection. And sometimes, just saying, "Excuse me, I'm Paul," is perfectly fine. The conversation doesn't have to be instantly brilliant.
That's a very reassuring thought. We're not trying to win an award for the best introduction ever. We're just trying to open a door for a conversation. Let's talk about some common mistakes. What should our listeners try to avoid?
Good point. One common mistake is talking too much about yourself without asking the other person anything. It can sound like you're just delivering a monologue. Remember, it's a two-way street.
So avoid the all-about-me trap. What's another one?
Not listening properly when the other person introduces themselves. You might be so focused on what you're going to say next that you miss their name or something important they just shared. This makes it hard to ask a relevant follow-up question.
Oh, that's definitely happened to me. I'm planning my next sentence, and suddenly I realize I didn't catch their name. It's so embarrassing. A trick I use is to repeat their name in my head, or even say something like, "Nice to meet you," their name. It helps it stick.
That's a brilliant strategy, Alice. Another mistake is apologizing too much for your English. Saying "sorry for my bad English" immediately puts you in a defensive position. Most people will be impressed you're speaking English at all, not judging your mistakes.
Yes, embrace your journey. It's okay if it's not perfect. The goal is communication. Now let's imagine different situations. How might an introduction be different at a casual social gathering versus a more formal networking event?
Great point. In a casual setting, like a party or a cafe, you can be a bit more relaxed. You might say, "Hey, I'm Paul. This coffee is amazing, isn't it?" Or, "Hi, I'm Paul. I haven't seen you around here before." It's light and conversational.
So you can comment on the environment or the situation to open the conversation. But what about a networking event or a professional conference? Do you need to be more formal?
A little more, yes. You'd probably use a slightly more professional tone. "Hello, I'm Paul Johnson from Acme Corp. It's a pleasure to meet you." And then maybe immediately follow with a question related to the event, like, "Are you enjoying the presentations?"
So informal situations, including your last name and company, can be helpful, and linking your question to the professional context. That makes a lot of sense. It helps establish your credibility right away.
Exactly. And in both situations, casual or formal, the goal remains the same: make a connection. It's not about being perfect, it's about being genuine and open. Remember, the other person is probably just as nervous as you are.
That's a comforting thought, Paul. I think one of the biggest challenges is just taking that first step, overcoming the fear of making a mistake.
Absolutely. And honestly, the more you practice, the easier it gets. Think of every new introduction as a mini adventure. You never know who you might meet or what interesting conversation might come from it.
Right. It's like learning to ride a bike. You might wobble a bit at first, but with practice, you'll be zooming along. So, to recap some of our key tips, start with a friendly greeting and your name. Add a little extra information about yourself. Ask an open-ended question. Use positive body language. Speak clearly, and try to prepare a few lines beforehand.
Perfect summary, Alice. And remember, practice, practice, practice. You can practice with friends, in front of a mirror, or even just in your head. The more familiar you are with the words, the more natural they'll feel when you're speaking to someone new.
And don't be afraid to make small talk. It's a vital part of English communication. Sometimes a simple comment about the weather, or the food, or something in the room can be a great way to start a conversation before you even get to a formal introduction.
That's so true. Just breaking the ice with a casual observation can make the introduction much smoother. It's all about making the other person feel comfortable and showing that you're an open, friendly person.
And hey, while you're practicing these amazing introduction skills, don't forget to practice being a loyal listener to Captain English Podcast. If you're enjoying our tips and finding them helpful, please hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps us grow and reach more learners like you.
Yes, please do. Your subscriptions and reviews mean the world to us. And remember, learning English is a journey, not a race. Every small step, every new introduction is a victory. So celebrate those moments.
Exactly. So go out there, be brave, make those introductions, and connect with people. You've got this. Paul, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today about this super important topic.
You too, Alice. Always a blast. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Captain English Podcast. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time for more English learning adventures.
Bye, everyone. Have a fantastic week.